There's a universe inside you, so won't you wake up now and see? Don't hide away the things you're feeling, unlock your mind and lose the key. There's a universe inside you, you should never have to hide. I can see the stars inside you, please just open up your eyes. There's a universe inside you. Inside you, so much more than people know. I've seen you fighting your emotion, I hope you stay and won't let go. There's a universe inside you, so much love to leave behind. Stop the path of devastation, you should live for all the highs. Inside you, why are you pushing it?
Hello guys, how's it going? My name is Dalrin, and recently I got on livestream to play some Outlaw Rogue for the duels. I also played Assassination as well as a plethora of other specs as of recent, and one thing I noticed with Outlaw recently, the spec just doesn't play the same like it did when I first tried it for the duels. It seems there were some changes for the spec here and there, and at level 120 you don't really feel a lot of these changes, but at level 110 you do get to see where a lot of the damage comes from, where a lot of the numbers are coming from, and it looks like they toned down the damage of our killing spree and really just gave more damage towards sinister strikes, auto attacks, our dispatches, which is the new name for our run through. So they're kind of bringing back a lot of damage back to the spec, back to your basic abilities, instead of maintaining you a massive killing spree that can one-shot enemies. So running things like Ghostly Strike and even the buff mechanic with Roll the Bones takes away a lot of the consistency. Ghostly Strike takes a global to apply, and a lot of enemies can simply kite you or CC you, so you won't really be able to get use of your Ghostly Strike 10% damage increase. And Roll the Bones mechanic does provide you various buffs, and if you get to grade 2 buffs or one good buff, it can definitely make a swing in the game, but something like Slice and Dice even is starting to feel a lot more closer, at least at level 110 within the PvP dueling environment. On top of it, Feint is now in a cooldown, so running Elusiveness with Feint is just so worthless when it comes to duels. Everything hits it super hard, and if you're unable to line up Feint perfectly with enemies' burst, even though most of the burst doesn't just come out within the 6 seconds that Feint is up for, it is more value to run some kind of a healing based build. So in this video I kind of want to showcase the recent build that I've been running on the beta, which some of you guys might get excited for, as it really brings back the aesthetic of combat rogues from back in the day. So the talent rows are a quick draw so I can generate more common points, and my pistol shot procs are a lot more effective. Vigor, because I tried Mark for Death, but it doesn't really matter whether I get the buffs early or whether I stun with a full kidney. It seems that Vigor ends up doing decent for me. Iron Stomach ends up being key here because, well, Elusiveness is just not as powerful. Parrying the Weak, Slice and Dice, which I think a lot of you will be happy about, and Killing Spree. When it comes to honor talents, it doesn't really matter except for Drink Up Your Hearties. It basically functions like a second concoction. Your Crimson Vial, you will basically use Iron Stomach to drink up 2 of these vials as you duel somebody. So instead of having to pop Feint for a defensive, you'll have Cloak, you'll have Parry, and if you ever get low on health when it comes to a one-on-one duel, you'll have 2 concoctions, something an Outlaw Rogue, a Schemer, a Scavenger, somebody who doesn't play by the rules would end up doing. And this way you can actually survive so many classes and you end up healing better than a Blood Death Knight. And in case you guys don't believe me, I asked a guy on the beta to get my health as low as possible, to about 1k worth of health, where we usually have about 21k maximum health, to see just how much health I'm able to get when I combine both of the concoctions, the actual Crimson Vial as well as the one I make with my Honor talent, to show you guys and everybody on the beta that was watching at the time, as well as everybody watching the stream, just how much healing a rogue can get if you end up speccing yourself for this particular build. And I guess the only thing that is left to show you guys is the fact that you can kind of sort of outmatch Blood Death Knights now. For the longest time, especially if you're a rogue, I feel like Blood Death Knights have been the bane of our existence. Some of the tankiest tanks in the game, with decent damage to boot, and they usually can heal all of our damage, and even in some cases overheal it. Combination of Cloak of Shadows, Parry, and having 2 Crimson Vials, as well as more or less better damage, or decent damage, coming out with Slice and Dice, Auto Attacks, Sinister Strikes, and Pistol Shot procs, you actually can stand toe-to-toe with a Blood Death Knight. I think this is kind of cool. I'm personally a fan of Roll the Bones. I like the whole RNG to it, the risk reward to it. If you get great buffs, you're a god. If you don't get great buffs, you gotta find a way to play around it. I've always been a huge fan and never really minded that whole playstyle. But trying this out with Slice and Dice and trying out with all the different builds that I have on the beta, I actually found this kind of exciting. This is the fact that I'm playing my rogue in a completely different way, and there's more than one way for me to play the spec that I enjoy and the spec that I love. I think it's probably the best thing about the game, and I'm a huge fan of that. Anyway, comment below what are your thoughts on the rogue healing build as well as the Slice and Dice, and enjoy the rest of the video.
Are you happy now? Are you happy now?